these are things that we need to state and remind leadership in the country that Kenyans are watching. Kenyans are keen, as Koki said, to see leadership, and that's where Chapter 6 comes in. That leadership that really walks the talks of what it promises. Yes, we are told that in campaigns, campaigns are done in poetry, but the administration is done in prose, and prose is what you are saying. And maybe I can tie that with what we were talking about earlier about the memorandum and the constitution. One, yes, it catches Kenyans by surprise in that now we are ruffling the feathers again of constitutional review, and the question would be why and what for. And in that memorandum, apart from the issue of gender parity, which has been with us for 12 years now, not agreeing in total with the formulation, but in the aspect of we need to urgently deal with this, and that's what I was talking about, our faithfulness to our constitution, that we have a constitution and we still have institutions and practices that are not in congruence with the constitution. So I think apart from that, the others to me, I think are attempts at doing what we did to our independence constitution, throwing patches at the constitution. If I dare say, sometimes we throw virakas at the constitution. And these virakas eventually are the ones which overturn the people's ambition of what they promised themselves in 2010. So the question would be, where is the urgency around some of these issues? As Koki said, some of them, they can be repaired politically. Some of them are strangely and absurdly incongruent with the political and governance system that we have. I think if Kenyans ask themselves whether they repair anything that has been seen to be significantly of failure, and eventually also the cost implications, you see, because if you're creating institutions, including the funds, for me, for instance, I ask myself, the entire institution of the Senate, which Kenyans have already financed by electing membership, paying that membership, providing infrastructure, that is the fund, So perhaps the Senate and the Parliament itself needs to explain to Kenyans, where are the gaps? And where are the real gaps that prohibit members of Parliament in both houses, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate, because we are already financing it to tune of billions of shillings. So where is this gap that is disabling our members of Parliament to execute their oversight role, that now we have to create an extra institution in terms of a fund, which Kenyans again are going to pay for. We have to create an institution in the name of the leader of the opposition, who, to me, is just a consolation prize for the person who loses the presidential election, but does not add anything of vitality to opposition, which, as of our system right now, is deemed inter-institutional, but also intra-institutional in the institution of Parliament. So there are all these layers and systemic instruments that Kenyans have already provided. So in creating one office, which when you do a thorough evaluation, at the end of the day, for me, it just ends up being a consolation prize. It's just a consolation prize for the person who loses, the runner-up to the presidential election. So Kenyans have to ask themselves whether they can afford that office again, because at the end of the day, it is money, Kenyans' money, that is being spent to actualize some of these proposals.